All right. Well, it looks like the stock market could be down a little bit to start today, but still somewhere in the middle 42,000 range for the Dow, and the others, the S&P and the other markets are looking pretty good right now. The Nasdaq as well, and gold has slid about 10% the last week or so. Some of the economic indicators going on. All of this as the class of 2025 enters a new kind of an economy. That's for sure. Things are different out there than they were, say, 5 or 10 years ago. Join me now, Beth Akers, senior fellow at the American Enterprise Institute and author of Game of Loans and Making College Pay, for White House economist under George W. Bush. Nice to have you here. Thank you.
Thanks for having me, Steve.
It's a different world. According to a recent Barron's article, the unemployment rate for young workers has jumped to 7.9%. Interesting, considering the overall unemployment rate's at about 4.2%. So older workers apparently in the workforce, but younger folks having a tougher time. Do tell.
That's right. Well, I think it's a really unique time for young people, specifically those leaving school to be entering the labor market. You know, we have a low overall unemployment rate, and the fundamentals of the economy remain strong. We know there's been a big shakeup since the beginning of the Trump administration, particularly driven by tariff policy. But I think that, graduates should be feeling like they're entering what could be a very strong economy right around the corner. And if they hold on tight, we're at least not in the recession that so many economists are already talking about. And I think there's a good chance we avoid it altogether. So, I don't think the situation is quite as dire for them as a lot of people are painting at the moment.
One of the things that I hear about college graduates and young people entering the labor force, and I laugh about this because to me it just goes without saying, but apparently it doesn't for folks. You need to show up at work, prepared to work, dressed on time, these sorts of things, soft skills. Even college graduates fail to meet this very low bar from employers that I talk to, people that are hiring people, and people, they show up late. Apparently there's this term called time blindness, which is just being late to work. It's bizarre to me, Beth.
Right.
Are today's college graduates overall ready to meet the challenges of the new day?
Well, I think there's a discussion about the cultural differences between the younger generation today and then my generation. But I think that's always been the case, right? There's this disconnect between kids these days. But, if you talk to employers in more formal ways, like you do these surveys about their preparation for the workforce, it's not just these kind of cultural, they don't get it kind of thing. It's that they don't have the skills that employers are really looking for. And I think that calls into question what higher education is delivering to Americans, what they're delivering to the American economy, which is really reflected, I think, what we're seeing in Trump's policy towards higher ed at the moment.
Yeah, I proffered this idea a number of years ago, and I continue to put it out there, and I'll ask you what you think. I think that these colleges and universities that offer these various degrees, whatever they might be for, should be co-signers on the degrees. If a kid shows up at a 4-year institution and gets a degree in communications in 5 years or 10 years down the line, wherever you set the mark, they have not been able to capitalize on this degree sold to them under the idea of you'll be a college graduate, you'll do well, you'll follow the American dream. And it's failed them that the college that sold them that piece of paper should be the co-signer, not the kid on the hook forever. Make the university step up and back their product. What's wrong with that?
Well, absolutely. And you'll be thrilled to hear that part of that big, beautiful bill that's potentially moving through Congress right now has a provision that's going to do exactly that. So House Republicans have been pushing for this idea for several years now in a really serious way.
I'm glad they've been listening to the program. I appreciate their patronage.
Yes, I've been carrying the message to the halls of Congress for you. But basically, this is exactly what they're doing. And I think it's completely right. We've sold Americans on the idea that a college degree is this golden ticket to the, prosperity.
But it's not.
It's not. On average, college degrees still do really well. I want to be really clear about that. But there's a lot of instances where institutions are sort of riding on the hype that cultural and political leaders have sold about what a degree is.
Well, look, Beth, the truth is this. I did a college tour a couple of years ago with one of my children. They weren't selling a college education. They were selling a meal plan and an entertainment plan. And I went to some big-name colleges and well-known universities.
Yep.
Entertainment and food. That's what they were selling. They were selling you an education or a future. They're selling you a snack bar, and snacks can be delivered to your room. And what's the workout facility like? And what are the entertainment facilities like? That's what they were selling. And it was all about money and entertainment. It was like going to a resort, not going to college. That's what it was.
Yeah. Absolutely. I always like to say, I don't mind that, we're bundling college with this sort of country club experience or resort experience. Except I don't want taxpayers paying for it. If
I don't
people are
either.
paying for this themselves, but we've got tremendous subsidies baked into the financial system for these institutions. We're seeing sort of a reckoning about that today as, President Trump is withholding funds from institutions and sort of saying like, okay, well, you want to do whatever you want, go ahead but do it on your own dime. And
Yeah.
that's not going to work for these institutions.
Yeah, here's the problem, you see. When Barack Obama made 99% of student loans through the government back in 2009, 10, 11, when that all shifted, the cost of education went way through the roof because all of a sudden you got one government entity basically loaning to another government entity by way of a middleman, which is the borrower, the student. And as a result of all of this, you end up with a cash flow situation. They created cash flow to the United States government by these tens of millions of people that have to pay monthly. It's a cash flow deal, just like the hedge funds are trying to isolate with all these acquisitions they're making, as if they acquired American citizens and put them on a treadmill. Because the problem with the loans that the people do have, if you make your minimum payment month after month after month after month, it never goes away. I know a student who has a $50,000 college debt, has had for 10 years, made every minimum payment. It was $50,000 10 years ago. It's $50,000 today. You can never beat the thing. And it's designed that way, and that's wrong, too.
I will say that over the past decade, we've had really generous expansions of repayment programs that do allow borrowers to make these reduced payments that don't eat away at their principal. But what does happen over time is they become eligible to have their balances forgiven.
Right, but we don't want that either. That brings me back to putting the colleges on the hook and being co-signers, right?
I'm with you. And I really think that policies move in that direction. I think we've been giving colleges and administrators a pass for a long time. I think that, Americans have decided, we don't want to put higher education institutions on this pedestal anymore. We want to hold them to account for what it is they're doing. And I think that's a fantastic change.
I think it's time to hold them accountable as well. Beth, I greatly appreciate you being here. A lot of things to fix in this country. College education and the way it's paid for is one of them. But if we could do that, it would put kids on the road to being more successful and more independent a lot quicker, I think. Thank you for being here.
Absolutely.
Really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, ma'am. There you have it. It's a different world in 2025 than it was, when I entered the workforce, or probably when you did as well. It is different now, and it's got its challenges, but everything does. Things change, and challenges are what they are, right? They are what they are. This part of the program brought to you by my good friends at the Wellness Company. It's a choice to be clean and to be healthy. I just started the Parasite Cleanse, ivermectin, mebendazole. I'm on it, man. This is the hottest thing going. Could your health issues, that fatigue, the bloating, the brain fog, what if it's all parasites? What if you ate the wrong sushi, or your dog or your cat? Parasites are real. I was digging into Parasite Cleanse when I came across a video from a trusted doctor who mentioned that. Doctors quote, ivermectin and mebendazole are two powerful anti-pathogens, but what's even more fascinating, these medications are frequently used in oncology to treat cancer patients as well. Somebody let Joe Biden know. They have anti-pathogenic properties that stunt the growth of harmful invaders and even the potential to slow down abnormal cell growth. That's right. 60 million Americans have bad parasites, and that's scary. TWC.health/Gruber. Find out more right now. Ivermectin, mebendazole. That's right. TWC.health/Gruber. Write that down. TWC.health/Gruber.